Darth Deuces here with another video. Today I'm going to be doing an update to my top 10 Black Series 6-inch action figures. I've gotten a fair amount of figures out of my collection since my last top 10 list. And my list has changed actually a fair amount, so I thought I'd update it. So first off, I'm going to start off with 3 honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention is the First Order Stormtrooper from the first wave of the Force Awakens Black Series 6-inch. This is a really great figure. Sculpt and paintwork is really nice. Accessories are good. The only real problem I have with it is while articulation is good, the single-jointed hinge at the elbow really does take away from the figure. You can give him aiming poses, but you can't really get good aiming down the sights poses out of him. And that kind of brings him down. But other than that, a really well done figure, very solid. Next up is the Ahsoka Tano figure. Now I know this might be a little strange, I'm putting this in my honorable mentions. I know for a lot of people she's probably in their top 10. And I do really like this figure. Sculpt wise, it's a very well done figure. Paint is pretty good, accessories are good. But again, it's just, I'm not overly invested in the character, and there are some issues I find because of her soft goods skirt, just the way the skirt's done. It's a little bit harder to get her legs spread apart more, and it's a little harder to get her to stand. And for some reason, she doesn't like holding her lightsaber in her left or right hand very well, which I don't like. But aside from that, again, another really solid figure. I really do like this one a lot. And last, for the honorable mentions, this one used to be on the top 10 list from before. I think Ahsoka was too. And this is the Emperor Palpatine figure. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't like this figure. I do, even though he does have a lot of flaws. I do really like this figure. Articulation's really good on it. The soft goods robe is really well done, except for the hood. While the hood does sit nicely on the head, it's the wrong shape. He's got way too large kind of flaps kind of hanging down. It shouldn't be like that. It should be more rounded like this instead of going out like this, so it looks a little off. But sculpt is good, paint apps is good. He should have had Ahsoka's lower robe underneath so he could sit, because it's plastic, he can't really sit. And he should have came with a lot more accessories. He only really came with his cane. He should have came with at least some Force lightning hands, and his lightsaber also would have been a nice addition as well. But I still really do like this figure, and it is a nice addition to the Black Series 6-inch line. Now, finishing up with those, we'll now talk about my top 10, starting with number 10, which is the First Order TIE pilot. Now, I'm not usually a big fan of the pilots, but I picked this guy up, and I actually do really like it. I don't know what it is about it, but I really like the design of the First Order TIE fighter pilots. I like the nice sleek design. The paint is really nice. The black armor really does shine and glimmer, which I think looks really cool. The paint apps are all nicely applied. I really like the different colored eye lenses. Sort of bluish eye lens on the black looks really nice. Good articulation, just a really cool looking figure. I really do like this figure a lot. And number 9, we have Clone Commander Cody. This is a more recent addition to my collection. I really like this figure. He's my only clone trooper in my collection so far, but the articulation's really good on him. He's one of the few figures that have double hinges at the elbows, so you can get some really good aiming poses like you see right here. He has really good paint apps. And sculpt for the most part is okay. The only thing I don't really like is his head just seems a little small, and his head also seems to be sitting on top of the neck a little too high. But aside from that, I think this is a really cool figure. I think he should have came with some other accessories too. He comes with this blaster as well as the smaller DC-15 carbine blaster. It would have been nice to also get the Darth Sidious hologram for Order 66, but not a huge deal. That is number 9. At number 8, we have the Force Awakens Han Solo. I really like this figure a lot. The head sculpt is really, for Hasbro standards, is really nicely done, quite accurate to Harrison Ford. The only thing that really bugs me about this figure is the fact that he has more brownish hair with gray streaks in it, when it should be gray with some brown brushing in it. They are apparently re-releasing this figure with the more gray hair, but I won't be getting that obviously because it's pretty pointless. But I do really like this figure. He is a little light on accessories, but I don't really know what else he would have came with aside from his pistol. He has some really great articulation and just a really good looking figure. I really do like it. So at number 7, I do believe, we have, if I can get him over here, Kanan Jarrus. I really like this figure a lot. This is one I was hunting for a little while, and I found it over the summer. And I really like this figure. This was one of the figures, it's like Ahsoka, that I took from the stylistic Rebels art style, and they brought it to life to how you'd look in a realistic movie or whatever. And they did an absolutely great job at translating Kanan into more realistic look. The head sculpt's phenomenal. The paint apps are really good on this figure. Articulation is pretty good. Just the sculpt's really nice. And accessories are also really nice. He has his pistol, which can be stored in his holster. And he has his lightsaber, which can be put apart into 2 pieces like in the show and put on his belt, which I think is really cool. This is a really nice addition to the Black Series 6-inch line. Really happy with this one. Now at number 6 is one from the very first wave of Black Series figures, the only one I was actually able to get from that wave, which is unfortunate, but it is the Sand Trooper. This is an absolutely gorgeous figure. The sculpt is amazing, probably one of the most accurate Hasbro Stormtrooper head sculpts they've made. The paint apps are awesome with some really good dry brushing to really bring out the sand and weathered look. Great articulation with double hinge knees and everything, or elbows and everything to get good aiming poses, and a bunch of accessories with a removable pauldron, removable backpack, and 3 different blasters. Just an absolutely awesome figure. I really like this guy. He's great for Instagram photos and whatnot as well. Very cool. Wish I had more of them. So that was number 6. Now getting down to the last half. Got number 5 here, which is Kylo Ren. This is the first release one. And this is a really great figure. This really surprised me when I picked him up. I picked him up alongside the First Order Stormtrooper when he first came out last year. And this is a really well done figure. The sculpt is great. Articulation's really awesome. You can get this guy in some really good poses. And the soft goods on this guy is actually really well done. The material is a quality material, looks really nice. The hood actually is a pretty good looking shape and sits on the figure's head really well and just doesn't look oversized or anything. It works really well. I absolutely really love this figure. It's awesome. That's number 5. Number 4 is a recent addition to the Black Series. It is K2SO. This guy is awesome. He's really big. He towers over every other Black Series 6-inch figure I own right now. I don't have Chewbacca, so I'm not sure about him, but this guy is super tall and just super cool. Articulation's really good. Paint apps are really great on this guy. Sculpt's great. I just love how towering he is. It's just so cool and just a really great figure. I really like this guy a lot. I can't wait to see him in the movies, see what his character is like. But a really great figure. They did a really good job on this guy. That is number 4. Number 3 is definitely one of my favorite overall Black Series figures. It is Jango Fett. If I can get in the stand. This is a figure I was definitely wanting to grab when he first came out. When he was first announced, he was being released. I was super pumped for this guy, and when I actually found him, I was really happy to have him. This is a very well done figure. Articulation's pretty good for the most part. I would have liked some more movement in the elbows, and sometimes balancing's an issue, but it's not too bad. You can get some good poses like I have right here in the shooting pose. Paint app's really great. You got different colors of blue on them. The silver is really nice and shiny, and there's a nice black dry brush on the armor to give it a sort of worn look, which I think is really cool. And he comes with a bunch of accessories with his 2 blasters can be stored in the holsters, removable jetpack, and removable helmet with a pretty decent Tamara Morrison likeness head sculpt to Hasbro standards underneath, which I think is really awesome. I absolutely love the removable helmet feature. This is a really nice looking piece. I really like this figure a lot. That was number 3. And number 2 is none other than the Dark Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Vader. Now, this guy was actually my number 1 in my previous list, and you'll see the figure that actually beat him out soon. But the figure that beat him out must be pretty good, because Darth Vader, if you're not familiar with me, is my favorite character, and that's one of the reasons why he is so high on my list. I know this is a figure that people either really like or really hate. I really like it, even though the head sculpt is not, or helmet sculpt really isn't that great. There have been worse ones out there, and it's not too bad when you consider that. And aside from that, everything else about the figure is pretty nice. He has good articulation, some great sculpting on the armor. The soft goods is really nice quality material. Good accessories. He got his lightsaber there, which has a removable blade, which is really nice. The metal chain clasp there is really cool, and he has a removable helmet feature, which has, if I can get it off there, yeah, a pretty damn good Anakin Skywalker sculpt underneath, which is really cool. And just a really nice figure. I also like how he is taller than most other characters, which as he should be. So I think that's really cool, and I just do really love this figure. Even with its flaws, I do really like it a lot. It just really does have a nice, imposing presence in your collection. Now, on to the last figure, the one figure that actually beat out Darth Vader, and it is a very recent figure to come out. And it is the Imperial Death Trooper from the new Rogue One line of figures for the Black Series 6-inch. I absolutely love this figure. I haven't even seen it in the movie yet, and I just love it. I love the idea of them being the elite soldiers of Imperial intelligence, pretty much the SS or Gestapo of the Imperial Army. The ones that even the other Imperial soldiers don't really know much about, and are intimidating to both friend and foe alike. And I just absolutely love the design of this character. He's a bit more slender than other troopers, which I think makes him a bit more unique. He's also quite a bit significantly taller than the rest, which I think adds their intimidation factor. The armor is really nicely sculpted. I absolutely love the sculpt of the new helmet. And the lenses are painted green and everything. I think it looks really cool. The armor itself is reminiscent of Darth Vader, especially with the almost identical belt buckle. Again, the armor is really nicely painted with this nice shiny black. I think it looks really cool. Look at this cool blaster. I got another blaster pistol that actually has storage, which is really cool. Great articulation, and even though he only has single jointed elbows, they actually do bend further than 90 degrees, so they actually can get in pretty good poses. You can actually get some pretty good aiming poses and whatnot. And he's got great paint apps, great sculpt, great articulation, great accessories, and just an overall really cool looking figure. So cool, I did buy 2, and they look absolutely awesome, flanking Vader and Palpatine. I think this is a great looking figure, and my number 1 Black Series 6 figure as of right now. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of my list down below in the comments. This is, of course, my opinion. These are my personal favorite figures. They're not your personal favorite figures per se. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you.